memorizing them. Hold on, something's going on with my phone.
No, I'm sorry. You know what? I forgot to start recording the meeting. And I so much apologize for that, because this is some good information that we're talking about. And I don't know if y'all will, I'm not saying this is the only place to get this information, but we want it recorded so we could receive a copy of it, so we can go back and listen to it and, you know, be educated and learn about it so we could teach other people. So if y'all don't mind, I started recording it. I know it's a little late, but you can go ahead, Tammy. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. But so anyway, it became clear to me that your energy body is you have your main organs that's needed to be healthy and functioning in order for your energy body to perform in the way, and it, you know, to the best of its ability. The 7 main organs are the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and then the crown. So you do know what they are, right, Cookie?
I can't tell you what they are by name. I've seen the chakra. I've seen the picture of the chakras before, and my brother is very familiar with the chakra. He's a priest, and every Sunday he does a Facebook Live, and he just talks about the chakras and all that stuff. So I know about the heart chakra. I know about the throat, the third eye, and the crown chakra, but I never really just focused on it and zoomed in on it to have a true understanding of it.
Okay. And so one of the things I did was came up with a way to memorize them. And the ones that you listed are the ones that are most, you know, pretty much the self-explanatory. But starting from the bottom, the root being the first one. After that, I put the solar plexus. I kind of knew where that area was in my body. So I knew sacral was the one below it. So that's the way I memorized them, being the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, third eye, and the crown. So that's one thing. Secondly, your aura is to your energy body as your skin is to your physical body. So if you think about the aura being the lining or the outside layer of your energy or spiritual body, then you can picture that, you know, there's certain things that affect your skin. And so if you think about the aura being your energy or spiritual skin, you know, that's why it's important for it to be healthy, strong, and protective. Let's see what else I was going to say that might just help feed you. With each of the chakras, I relate a beginning phrase. So with my root, I relate I am. And I mean, this might be something that I got from a chart or somebody told me, but my root is connected to things that I am. My sacral is connected to things that I feel. My solar plexus is connected to things that I can do. And then my heart is connected to love, of course. Throat chakra, I speak. Third eye, I see. And then of course, crown, I know. And those were the beginning ways that I'd make notes, you know, when I would learn something about each one of the chakras. And those are some of the beginning ways that you can start memorizing them and understanding them and putting them in an order that makes sense, and also putting the thought of what chakras are in a way in your mind that you can understand them if you view them as organs of your energy body. So I'll stop there, and then I'll pass it on to Candace that probably has more detailed information to share with us.
Oh, Tammy, I wish I had more detailed information. I mean, I actually know just as much as Cookie. This is one thing that I knew very little about, the chakras. I just like you, Cookie. I've seen the charts, I've seen the colors, the most I knew about was the crown chakra, but I didn't really know nearly as much as I just learned. You taught me so much just now, Tammy, and I'm thankful because it really makes a lot of sense when you relate it to the major organs of the natural body and the aura being the skin of the spirit body. That makes so much sense. I feel like that was so intuitive, and it just makes sense. It's something that we can relate to. So thank you. I just learned a whole lot. And I
That
wanted
is
to add one
awesome.
more thing. I've been taking notes this entire time. So, awesome stuff. Thank you. But I was gonna put it in the chat. I don't know if it was okay to do that. Just kind of
Oh,
put
yeah,
down
that's
some of the
fine.
main points that we've been discussing so far.
That's fine. I appreciate that, Candace. Yeah, if you could put that in the chat, that's wonderful. Real quick, I was just wanting to, Tammy, if you had any more to add on to it before we will understand what Cookie, maybe what she got out of it. I just want to share with y'all two small pamphlets. As you can see, they're very thin, but I got these off of Amazon. And it's the pineal gland, the eye of God, and it compromising chapter of Manly Hall. So trying to find out who the author of this. Oh, okay. It's Manly P. Hall Publications. So this gives a little bit more illustration and understanding of the pineal gland. It's kind of a very basic book to understand. It's not a whole lot to it, but it does talk about it. Also, the chakras for beginners. So this is a little guide by T.D. Rockefeller. And it's just talking about how to balance the chakras, strengthen your aura, and radiate your energy. So when you're talking about aligning your chakras, balancing your chakras, knowing the different chakras and what they are meant for, as well as you have different techniques of how you hold your hands when you're balancing your chakras or working with your chakras, which actually opens up different energy sources to be able to open up your chakras and learn to balance them. So it's just, quick little guides to help you, as well as you can get books on it. And this may spark an interest in me actually writing another book dealing with the chakra system. So, but of course I would need to do a lot more research because that's not my area of expertise. So, yeah. So did you have any more to add to that, Tammy?
Yeah, I did a little bit. Each of the 7 chakras are represented by a color. I'm sure you guys know by now, and as well as stones that help when it comes to managing, balancing, and unblocking each of the areas. And different things that happen in different stages of your life impact whether or not, can affect your different chakras in different ways. So it's a little bit complicated, but again, for me, I was exposed to chakras first because I had a panic attack and I went to a Reiki healer, which I had never heard about because I was desperate to not ever feel what I felt before. And someone suggested to me that panic attacks are pretty much energy centers that are either spinning the wrong way or blocked or otherwise. So I was so desperate after going to the hospital and they said there was nothing wrong with me that I tried this Reiki, and it changed my life. Because without knowing anything about Reiki, without having any expectations, when I closed my eyes and just allowed whatever was going to happen out of desperation, I saw a red bulb. I saw a pulsating orange explosion. I saw yellow lines that looked like electricity. And then in the order, the colors were in the orders of what the chart is now. But I never knew this until after I was sharing my experience with a friend that said, I'm gonna send you a picture of something, because I was describing what my experience was. And so that let me know it was real, because it is what happened to me. And that's what made me want to learn more about it. And following chakras is what led me to know how spiritual experiences might be connected with them, and so on and so forth. And again, I'm a little less exposed in that area, but as far as managing my energy, that's pretty much what I'm into. So I know about some of the stones and what they are supposed to do. And I basically just research. And similar to Chris, I have a book which I got up and tried to find, since we were going to talk about this, but I can't locate it at this moment. That is so helpful. It's very basic, but it gives you an understanding of each area. And then that allows you the understanding of what you might need to focus on related to different issues you're dealing with in your life or personally, you know. So that's all I'll say for now.
Terry, how are you doing? I know you've been kind of quiet and you're probably on mute because Tammy was talking, but just wanted to make sure that you're doing okay and you kind of understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Just the general understanding. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I do. I'm just trying to gain knowledge. I'm gonna get the Chakra for Beginners book. And I've been reading your book. So yeah, I'm taking it all in, and I know little bits, but I haven't consistently, been practicing, or like you say, how to mind when you're meditating and your mind wanders, and you try to get back to where you should be or focus on what you should be focusing on. So yeah, I'm gonna get that book too.
Okay, cool. So Cookie, did that answer your question? Did you have any other questions about?
It certainly helped. I need to be a student of it as well. So I'm gonna make sure that I do my own research as well to fully understand, to get it. Because I think now, for some reason, this is really funny. In my spiritual development, I think now is the time for me to fully understand the chakras. But before, I can tell you that, what was it, 2000? Okay, my mom passed away in 96. So I started my spiritual journey shortly after she died. And I was very restless spiritually, and, almost having anxiety attacks myself. I went between anxiety and depression. But it was my spirit saying, you got to get yourself together. And so because I had that, I guess it was my guardian angel, whatever, guided me to people and resources that helped me to start to learn how to meditate. I would actually ask this lady, I don't know how to meditate. Can you meditate? Can you teach me how to meditate? And I don't understand meditation. So it just started out little by little, on a daily basis, breathing and, books that would just came to me, information that came to me, that I just devoured books and certain tapes and stuff like that. So at that, I guess it wasn't really important for my spirit at that time to understand it. So at this point in my life, I think I need that piece to the puzzle that's going to help me, be more whole on this, in terms of my spiritual understanding and my spiritual, activities on a daily basis. So like, again, every week my brother talks about the chakras, so he's an expert at it, obviously. But it still went over my head. But now spirit is saying, okay, now it's time for you to go to that level and to really take the time to understand it. Oh, and what I was going to also ask you is, are we going to? I have your book. I started reading it. I need to really take more time to focus on it. I was just wondering, are there going to be any topics that we can discuss together based on the book?
Sure. If y'all want, we can just decide, we can just get a census of what we would like to share or talk about the next meeting. So this one is basically an introduction meeting, getting to know each other and finding out maybe what are some of our strengths and our weaknesses. So that's the next thing. If nobody had anything else on chakras, that's the next thing I would like to go around and discuss, like some things that you feel like, what is your strength? By knowing yourself, what is your strength? And then like, what is your weakness? What is something that you need help with when it comes to spirituality, metaphysics, understanding, like this, for instance. Now, the thing about this is I'm gonna go, the reason I wanted to have this forum is so we can go deep. Let me know if let me know if I'm going too deep, too soon, and then just say, hey, slow down, I don't understand, or I'm not ready for that yet. I understand that. For instance, when I brought this home, I don't know if y'all know what this is, but it's a statue, it's a Kali statue, right? Kali is from India. So Kali is a mother energy deity, but she's also a warrior. So whenever people see this, or someone happens to come into my office and they see that, it scares them, right? So, and the reason that I brought the Kali statue, okay, so the reason that I brought that up was because a lot of times we have a misunderstanding of energies. We have a misunderstanding of deities. We have a misunderstanding of statues, their meanings, and just the look of them. You know, like Kali, I will admit, she looks a little intimidating. She looks scary and demonic, you know. But what we have to understand is, I know in the Bible it talks about statues, deities, to not worship them. When you see statues or someone, let's just say, have statues around candles or they're maybe praying or meditating, we obviously think that, okay, that person is worshiping that statue. And that's not the case. That's not the case of my intention with Kali. However, you do have other cultures out there, or other spiritualists that acknowledge these deities and allow them to come into their spirit, their space, and their energy. And I'm not going to say corrupt them, but they allow them to use their spirit for power or for doing certain rituals to where they harm people, right? That's not what I'm wanting to teach here, okay? What I'm wanting to teach is that's an inanimate object. It's just a statue, right? It's a statue, however, that you can use your mind and your energy to project your thought to Kali's energy, right? So Kali has a certain energy of where she's a protector. She has like a mother energy, so she's a nourisher, if I'm pronouncing it right. So she nourish nature. She has a protective energy. Of course, she's a warrior, but with all of those things, I think Cedric is waiting to get in the room, so he's a little late. So I'm gonna add him in the room, see if he's there. Okay. So if you can hear us, just come on in. I don't know if you're muted or not. So yeah, but just to finish up on Kali, it's an inanimate object. It's a statue We don't worship statues. We don't allow their energy or whatever to take over our body or take over our energy and our space. But we actually use the inanimate object as a point, as a focal point. It's just like when I drew this right here. Right? That's a focal point. So you could use your mind's eye or your energy to expand that little circle and expand it to where it becomes bigger, right? So you're doing the same thing with the Kali statue. You're taking a statue, if there's mantras that you have for, let's just say Kali or whatever, so you are resonating, bringing up, or most people use the word conjure, but then they actually look at the word conjure and they, oh, that's evil and that's demonic. And no, that's what you do. It's like spells, right? Most people don't realize that spells is in talking, it's in your language. So when you're just speaking naturally, you can put a spell on someone just by having a conversation about it. You know, you can say, I don't like that person, right? Or that person makes me sick. You just put a spell on them, or put a spell on yourself because you said that person makes me sick. So that person, because of the energy and the thought behind what you're saying, is going to make you sick. It may be quick, it may be of the quickening that you'll get sick, or it may be over a period of time that you cause yourself to get sick, because just because you put that energy and thought force out there, it will over time, every time you see that person or deal with that person's energy, you are going to think about that which you put out there. Oh, I don't like that person makes me sick. And so what you're doing is you're causing sickness to manifest within you. So that's a spell that you're putting on yourself, or possibly a spell, depending on how you say it, you're putting that spell on someone else. So when I'm talking about conjuring is basically an energy that you are manifesting, you know, for either protection, for guidance, for love, for whatever. And so it's always been used throughout different cultures, and spiritualists use them. However, some of them use them for the wrong reasons. Some of them, you know, use it to control and hurt people, which that's not the case that we're wanting to use it for. Because, you know, me, myself, I have, when you're a person that is really sensitive and you pick up certain people's energies and you can read people and spirits come to you and communicate with you, you want to be well protected from physical beings as well as spiritual beings, right? So that's what I use if I have statues around me. If you ever happen to hear me speak about Kali or hear me speak about Anubis or whatever, those are energies that I use to allow myself to either have access to certain, you know, realms or energies, or just for protection or whatever. So I don't know if y'all have any questions on that, but it's just, you know, I don't even know why exactly I brought that up. Okay, so Candace raised her hand. I think Cookie and Tammy, I think everybody has a question on that. Okay, go ahead. You can go ahead first, Candace. We'll go in the opposite direction.
Okay, so thank you for bringing up statues and deities and energies, because that's a topic that I'm really interested in. I've been really curious about like conjuring ancestors and other deities. But I mean, I can start off by saying for me personally, it's a little bit challenging because of how my family system is set up, I am cut off from knowing anybody after my grandmother. So I don't know anything about any of my ancestors. So my first question would be, how do I get a chance to get in contact with those deities? And then number two, I know people tend to, I don't know if the right word is feed or I don't know, venerate. I don't know what you do, but I know people give offerings to different deities and entities. So is that something that you do? What do you know about doing that kind of thing?
Trying to unmute myself. Okay. So yeah, so the first thing that you want to do if you have any interest in doing that, I'm not recommending that everyone do it because one, you have to feel comfortable with it. Okay. You have to know yourself, you have to feel comfortable. And as well, whether it be your spirit guides, whether it be your ancestors, or whether it be deities that you're working with, right? They will not come to you until they feel that you're ready and you're ready to receive them, if that makes sense. So it's been a process with me. Of course, I'm able to connect with energies of my spirit guides as well as my ancestors and deities as well. But what I would suggest first is that you connect with your spirit guides. Okay, once you connect with your spirit guides and you know who your spirit guides are, and that can be whether you do yoga, right? Yoga it's pretty much a form of meditation, but it's more so a energy and breath, with movement. You're centering yourself based on your movement and you stretching yourself, and that's also a form of spiritual practice or spiritual dance. So where was I going with that? So, and then some people through meditation, such as myself, that's how I connected with my ancestors, with my spirit guides first. I actually did it backwards. And I don't recommend anybody do that backwards because once I started backwards, and then I had to go back forward because it's the correct way of connecting with energy sources. And notice I said energy sources because that's all they are. Spirits and nothing but more than energies, right? So connecting with your spirit guides, which is basically you have a team of spirit guides, whether they are animal spirits, whether they are your ancestors that just passed. It could be your father, it could be your grandmother, it could be your aunt. One of my spirit guides is my father. He's always around me. Every time I get a reading, that's what I hear, that there's like a father energy, there's a male energy around you. And I know for one, that's more than likely my father, as well as my grandfather is, always within the mix somewhere. So your spirit guides can also be someone that may not be of your bloodline that crossed over, but they may be someone that deals with your, let's just say, okay, you have a artistic ability, right? Such as graphic arts, right, Candace? So it may be a spirit being that has crossed over. It could be 20 years ago, it could be 100 or 200 years ago, right? But they may be chosen to be your spirit guide dealing with artistics, right? Artistic design or whatever, because they resonated with that ability and they have mastered it. So now they're actually one of your spirit guides. So whenever you get into a state of creating, right? A lot of times you are drawing that energy from your spirit guides, or that particular spirit guide is guiding you and directing you on something that you may, that you want to master when it comes to being a graphic arts designer or just your creativity, as well as when I was writing my book, a lot of times I resorted to this guy right here, which is Hermes or Tahuti Thoth, right? which is a deity. He's an Egyptian deity, but he can also be considered a spirit guide. And it could be a spirit guide for someone that records, someone that is into music, someone that's a writer or author, someone that does poems, also someone that's a comedian, right? Because Hermes or Tahuti Thoth, he is directly relating to being a recorder or writing or dealing with artistic art, in any art form. So whatever it is that is your gift, or whatever it is that you're good at, even someone that draws, right? You want to draw that energy from like someone like Tahuti Thoth or whoever is related to that particular artistic art. So your spirit guides can also be a spirit animal. I mentioned the spirit animal. And a lot of times how you can tell is wherever you are, most times you'll see like an eagle, you may see a cat all the time, a particular looking cat. It may be just a certain dog that follows you or whatever, or even a wolf. With some people it's wolves. Whatever, so you may even hear that howl of a wolf or whatever. I mean, so you may be Native American, you may be whatever is of your culture or whatever, and you have certain spirit guides that's connected to you. You have one in particular, and then you have one that also is your spirit guide at death. And that spirit guide, as you transition, make sure that you are connected on the spirit side when you enter the cosmos, in the afterlife. So you'll have your spirit guides or your ancestors connect with you at the point of death, and they'll meet you on the other side, depending on how you're working on your spirituality, your craft, connecting with them now, because some people don't know about this. Some people don't, they don't get into religion, they don't get into their spirituality, and some of them just know nothing. So whenever they transition, they may not have anyone over there. They excommunicated themselves from their family, from their beliefs, their spirituality. So they are going to be the ones that are just around, just floating around, just like, okay, I don't know what to do, where to go, or, so yeah. So like I said, I can be long-winded, so I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna cut it short right here. So just knowing that you need to connect with your spirit guides first and your ancestors before connecting with like deities and, let's just say, archangels as well, because you can connect with archangels as well, archangels and angels.
So basically, just for just action's sake, so I would get into a meditative space and then I would just ask for them to manifest themselves to me or to come show me something. Is that how that would work?
Yes. So so how I connected with my spirit guide, I was just through meditation. I wanted to know, like, who was my spirit guide, because I read this book. And so I read a couple of different books on spirit guides and angels. So this is Spirit Guides and Your Angel Guardians. And this is by Richard Webster, right? So within that book, it was talking about, how you can connect with your spirit guides, who your spirit guides may be, or so on and so forth. So I was like, you know what? I really want to connect with my ancestors and my spirit guides. So through meditation, I just started asking, I was like, I want to know who my spirit guide is. I want my spirit guide to protect me. I want my spirit guide to communicate with me. I want my spirit guide to assist me on on my life path, because I need help and I need assistance, because that's what your spirit guide is. It's like having a personal assistant. So when you connect with the one spirit guide, of course there's many, but there's one particular one that may resonate with you more than others at particular times. So I'm asking, once I connected with my spirit guide, I'm like, what do I call you? And my spirit guide said, I have been here many times before on earth, and I don't have a particular name. So whatever name you call me, that's what I'll go by. So I said, okay, well, I'll name you Jason. So my spirit guide name is Jason. That's not a particular name that he was known in the past. That's just the name that I resonate with him. And that's the name that, you know, my spirit guide will understand, okay, yes, this is Chris connecting with me or whatever. So a lot of times they are not always around you. Sometimes they may be doing other things, but you can always channel your spirit guide. And they will, you know, answer at your beckoning call because they are assigned to you. So I don't know if that helped. But yeah.
That was
as
extremely
well-
helpful. Thank you.
I'm sorry?
That was extremely helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and what I do is I give them assignments. You know, when I meditate in the morning, before I go to work, I need help. I work in a correctional facility, you know. Not only that, but it's just throughout my life path, I'm starting to learn things. I'm starting to recognize, hey, you know, now I'm an author, and I'm starting to develop creative things about myself, and I need assistance. I need help. So I connect with my spirit guides and ancestors, and I give them assignments. I'm like, hey, I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I need y'all to be on task. I need somebody to protect this house. I need somebody to go with me to work. I need somebody, you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm working on. I'm working on a book. You know, I'm connecting with my spirit guides, ancestors. Like, am I on the correct path? Am I, you know, is there something that I need to change? And after I'm done communicating with them, I just go into a state of meditation. And I just listen. I listen for if they're going to tell me, yes, you're doing the right thing, or, you know, something may be slow to come about that I want to manifest and happen right away. So that what that means to me is it's not meant for me to have that yet, or there's something else that I need to go through in order for that to come about. You know, so it may be, hey, you know, I need to manifest making $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month. So if you're used to just making $3,000 or $4,000 a month, you may not be able to handle making $10,000 or $15,000 a month. So you need to ask them, hey, you know, what do I need to know or do in order to be the type of person to where I can manifest $10,000 a month every month? And this is the reason that I need this money, because I have plans to do A, B, and C, and I need this amount of money so I can take care of those things. Show me or put the people in my path or in my circle that's going to help me to manifest this money on a monthly basis. I need this done, or I need the answers ASAP. I don't play around with them. You know, I mean, and I don't know if that sounds crazy, but they look forward to helping you. Your spirit guides and your ancestors look forward to assisting you. The problem is sometimes we as people don't know that they're there, or we've never heard of that before. And then two, we think that communicating with them in that particular way is like, who are you talking to? You know, why are you talking to your ancestors with commands? I'm not doing it in a disrespectful way, like they're a cat or a dog, you know, giving them commands to do this and do it now. But I've developed a relationship with my spirit guides and ancestors to where I know what my position is and who I am. So because I'm the ambassador of my family, and there are certain things that I need to do before just the responsibility of being an ambassador of my family is a big responsibility. So I need help. I need guidance. And so I give them tasks to complete. And if I'm stepping out of line, they'll let me know, but at the same time, if you go in soft saying, well, ancestors or spirit guides, I really want this to happen, but I don't know. Could you please, it's almost like you're softly saying it, you don't really mean it, you're just kind of playing around. But when I'm like, look, Jason, I need this to happen. I'm writing a book. I want to be done with this book. Let me know what I need to put in it. And then I'm thinking of my ancestor that I've heard from my cousin that is, they're Native Americans. So I'm saying, okay. And as I'm talking to her, she's saying that, well, I'm gonna do DNA tests and stuff like that to see what tribe they belong to. I'm like, I'm not waiting on no DNA tests. I'm gonna get ready to go in and meet them right now. So I start to meditate and I talk to my spirit guide, Jason. I'm like, look, I need to know who my ancestors are and I need to connect with them ASAP, and through meditation, it wasn't the first try, but it was after a couple of times, my spirit guide actually connected with my ancestor, who was my cousin, Native American, out of South Carolina, but she's over 200 years, it was 200 years ago since she was on Earth. So I connected with her, found out her name, and, told her that I would be in communication with her. And she's now one of my guardian angels, one that I can count on and connect to in meditation through channeling her. So I can channel her at any time that I get ready, and she'll be at my beckoning call to assist me and help me. So that's, I'm long-winded again, but that's what they're there for. Your spirit guides and ancestors to connect to or connect with, because not only are you doing the work for yourself, you're doing the work for them, right? Because we are all one soul, right? We're connected. So my success or the success that they help me to have is their success. So it's just progressive movement in our DNA, because that's where your ancestors and your spirit guides are. They're within your bloodline. They're within your soul, your spirit. So anyway, are there any questions? I just said a whole mouthful. I'm sorry that
I don't have any questions, but I wanted to give you some input on. So just so you know, I've been practicing African spirituality since I was like 13. My brother has been a African priest for about a little over 50 years now.
Okay.
So, he's been developing and learning. He doesn't just do the ritualistic parts of it. He really, actually, he's a ordained minister. He studied philosophy. And I mean, he was, even from childhood, that was funny. He was a really geeky kind of kid, dorky kind of kid. He was studying philosophy when he was, a preteen. But what I wanted to say was what I've learned, with, studying with him, is that, first of all, God talks to your ancestors. Your ancestors talk to the deities. The deities talk to you. And you can learn that through, you can learn how to do simple divination to ask them yes or no questions.
Right.
You can also, with regard to statues and things like that. So in African spirituality, we have pots, we have statues, and let me just tell you real quick, we used to have an African store, African boutique in Washington, D.C. And what really got my brother into African religion, my mother kind of got him into it too, but buying and selling African art, that's part of the African religion, African spirituality. So those statues have actually gone through rituals where the spirit of that deity is infused in that statue or pot, because they have pots, that a lot of deities will have pots. Some of the what do you call those things? Objects of worship. They might be a rock. They might be, a pot of iron and steel. That's the energy of iron and steel, and that goes into a whole different thing. But those things actually go through certain rituals in order to infuse the spirit in those objects of worship. So it's not, but I don't want you, again, I'm not getting away from, I'm not saying that you should or should not worship objects, but you need to understand what's inside, what you are focusing on is what's infused inside of that object of worship.
Yeah.
And understanding the deity, right? The spiritual.
So, and so that's why I say I don't worship idols, statues, or anything like that. I have a greater understanding of what they are used for. I understand that you connect with the energy source of Kali or of Anubis, you use them as guides, because I don't see, to be honest with you, I don't mean this in the form of any disrespect to any deities or ancestors, but I don't see any difference with them than who I am. The only difference is they're on the spiritual side, I'm on the physical side. Other than that, we're equal. I don't worship you. I recognize your energy and your power, but at the same time, we're on the same level.
Exactly.
And I'm asking, or I'm petitioning to connect with you and utilize your energy source for this particular job or mission that I'm doing.
Exactly.
So I don't give them I don't put them on a pedestal or anything like that.
So basically it's a whole thing of getting certain initiations, like just for instance, these are my spiritual beats. I had to go through a certain initiation to be able to wear these beads.
Right.
So but also what I wanted to tell you about was I don't know if you remember getting that from Sylvia Browne's book about guardian angels. You have a guardian angel that is assigned to you before you even come down to earth.
Yes.
Whether you listen to that guardian angel or not is up to your level of consciousness. And I think it was Sylvia Browne's book. She said, your guardian angel has the hardest job because they can't force you to do anything, but they're on the side. Yo, don't do that. Yo, over there, go over there. But you have to be willing to, you have to be open to hear them. They have a hard job. That is their job. Their job is there to guide you while you're on earth. Whether or not you want to listen to them or not, that's on you. And then at the time, you always have a guardian. You have someone that comes with you when you're born. You have somebody that's there with when you die. And wherever your life, now, I also, I used to practice Buddhism, and a lot of stuff with some principles that I really, stuck with me is that whatever your life condition is at the time of your death is where you're at when you transition. So if you're in hell, you're going to be having a very hard time when you transition. However, but it's not too late. You're going to have to deal with that once you get to the other side. You're going to have to really go through certain steps to elevate your spirit. And then also, even on this side, if you have people who love you and care about you, they're going to be doing rituals to raise your spirit up as well. Absolutely. So that's part of the African spirituality as well. But I also just wanted to add, it's very simple and easy to have, if you want to connect to your ancestors, whether you know who they are or not, even if you only have one or two that you know who they are, maybe you have all it takes is a picture, a candle, and a glass of water. And so I have my ancestral altar. I've had it for about 30 years now, almost, before my mother died 26 years ago. So it must have been like about 27, 28 years ago when I started to keep my ancestral altar. And so it's, that's all part of African spirituality, but it's really funny how you'll see Indians, the Indian people, and you'll see Buddhists. As a Buddhist, we used to honor our ancestors at the end of our prayers. We used to ring the bell for them. So it's all about, you definitely can, speak to your ancestors at any time, but again, you have to be just like, reason why we're here is we have to learn how to go into the silence so that we can hear them. If you make an intention, you make that intention, you go into science, and you have to listen. And so that's something that I'm doing every day. That's something I have to do every day. I have to remind myself every day. And thank God, it happens to me on a very subtle, subliminal level. I don't even know what's happening half the time. Only thing I do know for sure is my mother is my guardian angel, and she's around me 24/7. And so she sort of like runs the show. And, as I told you before, I don't even get to miss my mother because she's like in my DNA now, for real.
Yeah.
If spirituality has anything to do with DNA, she is in my DNA. Sometimes I actually just feel her like in me. I can't even try to explain it, but she's always around me in a beautiful, sweet, loving, kind, unconditional way. It's never, aggressive or scary or anything like that. She's just there. She's there.
So Candace, to answer your question real quick, as far as do I put anything on the altar for my ancestors? I do. Sometimes I put water on there. If they have special requests, whenever I connect with either one of them, and if they want cornbread, if they want chicken or whatever, I put that on the altar. I have one of them that always requests, what is it? I can't even think. It's the name of an alcohol. It's something monkey, but yeah. So I have that in the cabinet as well, and I'll put that out there from time to time. So yeah, it's a thing what you call venerating your ancestors, or acknowledging your ancestors. So yeah. So whatever their favorite dish was to cook or to make or whatever it was that they like, when they transition over, they may request that. And I know a lot of people is like, well, how are they eating that or how are they drinking that? It's not that. It's when you're dealing with a higher sense, it's the smell, right? Because when you light a white candle and you light an incense, the candle is basically to ring the doorbell to the spiritual world, letting them know that, the altar is there and, I come to convene with you or to communicate with you. And you just let them know, look, Aunt Sally, I have your favorite cornbread, dish here, exactly how you liked it or whatever. And I'm sitting it out for you, in recognition of you or whatever. So it may be their birthday and you may go get them, a cupcake or whatever. So it's just a reminder to let them know that you haven't forgot about them, that you still think of them, and they will always be there for you and guide you. So any other questions? Tammy?
I have a comment. Earlier you had mentioned, and we kind of got away from it, but you had mentioned maybe coming up with some ideas for how we move forward on the upcoming calls.
Uh-huh.
And also us being each, I think you mentioned something related to us being able to identify our strengths,
Okay.
or something like that.
Right.
And I was thinking that maybe we can come up with a structure of how the next call would go. For example, maybe I would take on being prepared to share a little more information in the area of chakras. So
Okay.
maybe I'd have 5 to 7 minutes of conversation or information to contribute. And then maybe some of the areas that maybe Candace feels a little more informed on, she would
Okay.
choose. Cookie, similar to now, you just spoke on some things I'm I'm totally green on. Like, I have no clue what you were
Right.
speaking on, that subject matter. And then,
Okay.
of course, Chris, you have meditation and so many other detailed areas of that. And I was gonna say, at the time when you brought it up, I know, one thing I do know is that my strength is I'm an advisor, I'm a counselor, and I'm a healer. Now, I
Okay.
haven't been able to rein those things in and you know, like, what would the word be? I haven't perfected them in any way, but I know that that's one of the things that has been, those are some of the things that have been revealed to me. But I am afraid of the dark, and or have been throughout most of my life, which you know this, Chris. So it is a little more interesting to me to learn more about those areas that you guys are talking about,
Okay.
because I haven't been open enough to
Okay.
really receive what might be coming to me in those areas. So I'm interested in learning more in those areas that all three of you have mentioned. So
Okay.
that was
So
what I wanted to
Tammy,
contribute.
awesome. So thank you for saying that, because what I would like to do is our next meeting. What I would like for us to do is we can go around and share what it is that you know that's your strength and what it is that you have a weakness on, which you have already shared yours. So thank you for doing that. And then Tammy, since you were the first one to mention it, you know, the next time that we meet, whenever we decide to meet again, you can present whatever it is that you feel like you have an expertise in knowing or whatever. So we can go around and share what it is, what we have that's our strengths, and what it is that we have that's our weakness that we know of. So Tammy, you did yours. Candace, if you want to go ahead and speak on that, what your strengths and what your weakness is, and then we'll discuss when are we going to meet for the next time, because I don't want to keep you guys for too long, because you know we just have other things to do. So Candace.
Yeah, as you both were talking about trying to highlight the strengths and weaknesses, I was like, wow, you know, I feel like a baby in this world with a lot of abilities. Right? I mean, I feel like to say anything spiritual that I can pin down that I could say, oh yeah, I could talk about. I'm not sure, but I do know that I have a natural gift of wisdom, and I also know that I have manifested a bunch of different kinds of gifts. Now, it's almost like a person who's who you have a gift for something, but you're not really polished on it. You haven't really figured out. But I know that I can do a lot of things. So to ask me what it is that I feel like I can offer, I think I'd probably have to think more about it, because maybe there's something there that I'm just not really pinpointing at the moment. So I'll probably have a better answer for you the next time we talk.
I wanted to say,
what-
I have the same, I'm
Uh-huh.
not sure what my strengths or my weaknesses are exactly. All I know is that I am on a path to grow in the spiritual realm, and I feel like this meeting that we're having is going to be one of the ways that I will resources that I can use to grow and learn. And you know, I can, all that I can do is like maybe share what I have learned over the years through African spirituality, and what maybe some things that I may have experienced from my own personal meditation practice. But I can't really tell you what my weakness is. But one thing I do think I would like is to be able to identify who my spirit guide is. I mean, my you know, I know I have my mom, but are there other spirit guides there, and being able to be more intuitive. I think I want to be able to be more intuitive, and maybe utilizing the third eye, you know, all that stuff. Right now, those areas are not, I don't have a full grasp on those areas yet. And I feel like spirit is asking me to learn about it.
Okay. Yeah, so those are some things that, you know, like I say, once you acknowledge what your strength is, and then some things that you're weak in, then you just want to make a mental note And then, you know, just we'll work on how we can strengthen that weakness within you. Candace, I don't think that you said what your weakness is. I don't know if you have one or whether you recognize what it is, if you want to state it.
I feel like if I have any weaknesses, it probably would be pinning down a particular path. So, you know, it's kind of like the person again who you feel like you're interested in so many different things. So to
Mhm.
pick a course and then write it all the way out and see it through to fruition, I feel like that's really what I want to focus on. So in being in this group, that's where my mind is. I really want to get a better grasp of who I am spiritually and then
Mhm.
figure out how to consistently work on that person so that I can see a more mature version of her and to,
Good.
I'm going with this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Terry, are you still there? I just unmuted you, Terry.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I am still here. I am not really sure as far as my strengths. Yeah, it's something I have to think about, like to pin it down or put words with it.
Okay.
I know one of the weaknesses, like I have a weakness, it's hard for me to trust people and open up. So
Okay.
that's something I'm working on, like anxiety, so I'm just taking it all in, trying to get more comfortable, feel better, opening up.
Okay. Good. Well, it's good that you recognize that, and we thank you for showing up and, willing to work on yourself, because I think that's where it all begins. Is a lot of times in spirituality, we want to know things and, things sound good to us. But I'm going to tell you what, even though we have all of these books, and we may read a lot, we may listen to a lot of YouTube videos, we may attend spiritual practices or whatever. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to your mind and what you know about yourself, how you can identify with your spirit, your soul, and what you know about yourself. And when you know yourself, nobody else can tell you who you are. Nobody else can try to trick you. Nobody else can pull the wool over your eyes, because and I think that is a superpower to have, when you know thyself.
Yes.
You know your weakness and you know your strength. So that way you know how to operate in life. I feel like, well, I don't know if is Cedric there right now? Cedric? Because he's been, I don't know. I don't think he's probably listening in. I don't know. But anyway, he'll get the copy of this, and hopefully next time he'll be able to be more active. So that's what we want to focus on. We want to focus on that, because once you do, just like even at work, I feel like I'm operating in almost like a superhuman power at work, because like our supervisors or managers, they may say something to where they're talking to everyone generally. And I'm like, no, they're not talking to me. And, there may be a point where we're at work, like, put your phone up. You're not supposed to have your phone. Oh, they're talking to y'all. They know not to say nothing to me. You see what I'm saying? So it gives you that confidence, that power, to where you're not walking around timid or walking around on eggshells because you're scared of what your employer is going to do to you, like they're the boogeyman. You know what I mean? And it just, I walk around with so much self-confidence, even stuff that I'm not supposed to have at work, I have it, and I dare them say anything to me. When it's unexplainable. But what that comes with is that's confidence. And even though they'll see you and they know that you're not supposed to have it, they'll look at you in a way, but then in a way they won't say anything because they're afraid of you. You know, because you got to think, I wrote this book, people have been talking, and then the way that I talk in front of people and my coworkers, I'm sure it's gotten back to them. And they're at a point to where they don't know what to do with me.
Are you muted?
But I think Terry is, yeah. So you want to walk in that confidence, not saying that you want to be so aggressive and so high mighty on a pedestal to where you think that no one can knock you down. I'm not saying that. You still want to remain humble, but at the same time, you want to make a stance and let people know, look, this is who I am. If you come at me any other way, then come to me to my face and talk to me directly instead of talking behind my back or talking to someone, you know, relaying a message to me, you're going to get your feelings hurt. Okay. So if you got something to say, you come to me directly. And I'll talk to the chief of corrections like that, you know, and they know that. So they leave me alone, you know, but you want to display that type of confidence and aura and energy around yourself to where it makes people shake in their skin because they either know who you are, they will approach you in a respectable manner, or they will leave you alone because they're scared of you. You know, so you want to carry around a confidence and energy like that. That way you can operate and do the things that you need to do without going through all of this hearsay, this talk, this negativity, and how it affects your day. It doesn't affect me because people know, yeah, he deals with spirits, he talks to spirits, let's leave him alone. Yeah, you better leave me alone because you don't want this.
They're scared of you.
Exactly. But it's not something that I'm doing intentionally. It's just because I'm resonating with spirit and my spirit guides and my ancestors on such a high level that sometimes they come out through me. And it gives, it wards off negative energy in people who have evil intent. It wards them off. They're like, okay, yeah, don't mess with him. Or if they say something out of the way, they'll quickly apologize, you know, and that's how you want to operate. So you can do what you need to do in life and you don't have to deal with all of this negativity or have to address it, you know. So, but yeah, so I don't want to keep you all too long. I think we've been on here for like an hour and a half. So we're going to close out, but when would y'all like to have the next meeting? Maybe do it on Sundays because I think most people are available on Sundays. I know every other Sunday I'm actually working and I get off at 5:30. So I don't know if y'all want to do it every Sunday or every other Sunday. So let's just say next Sunday, we'll skip next Sunday. And then the following Sunday after that, we can, you know, we can plan to meet again at 3 o'clock if that's a great time for you. So just let me know how y'all want to do it because my schedule flip-flops from one week to the other.
What about once a month? Do we need to meet bi-weekly or weekly?
We don't. We can do it
month?
once a month. Yeah, we can.
I mean,
do it.
I'm just making a suggestion. Just put it out there how anybody feels about that. I think for me, it would be good for me because my brother's has his temple service
Right.
on Sundays, but he used to have the song practice on Wednesdays, and he's talking about changing it to Sundays. So I'm thinking like, you know, once a month would be good because otherwise I'll be on Zooms all day long on Sunday.
Yeah, I understand that. You know,
But I mean, it's up to you guys. I mean,
Right.
I'm just putting it out there, you know,
Okay.
and I think it might also give us a chance to prepare for the next meeting. And perhaps we can, I mean, I'll be more than happy to assist if you want to do an agenda and or a recap. I guess the recording serves as the recap, so that you don't need that.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, once we, everybody state, what's good for them. If y'all decide to do it, hey, if we want to do it every 2 weeks, we can, because it's going to be recorded. And so even though you may not be here, or if you have to step out or whatever, the recording will be sent to you, so you can have a chance to listen to it. So, Tammy, what you think?
I personally, because I really want to get some growth and, intentional change in what my routine is as far as my commitment to learning more and growing more in these areas. I want it more than a month, every
Okay.
other, once a
Okay.
month. I would want it either weekly or bi-weekly.
Okay.
Not that it's going to be easy for me to partake every time, but I want to hold myself to it. Helps me hold myself to a certain standard of doing what I'm saying I'm going to do.
Right.
And when I do it once a month, it kind of probably will leave me similarly to where I am now, where I'm sort of sporadic with a lot of things that I want to grow. And
Okay.
so for me, I would prefer to be more than monthly.
Okay.
Bi-weekly or weekly would be my preference equally.
Okay. Candace?
Tammy just said is exactly how I feel. So nothing else needs to be said. Weekly or bi-weekly.
Okay. All right, cool. Terry, what about you?
Well, I think bi-weekly, however, normally, like 2 weeks from today, I will be at work,
Okay.
because every other Sunday I work 6 to 6.
Okay.
I do a
Right.
flip-flop schedule, so every other, and I don't get off till 6.
Okay.
So it depends on the time and everything.
All right. So what we'll do is, I feel like we can do it bi-weekly, 2 times a month. And the reason that I say that is because sometimes when you only do it once a month, and let's just say that next month rolls around and someone isn't able to do it, then they have to wait a whole nother month in order to, reconvene. So I think if we do it bi-weekly, even if a person is not able to show up, the recording will be sent to them, so they still will not miss what we're talking about. And they'll be able to, grow from that conversation. And even if they had questions, then they could, write down the questions and then bring it up on the next, panel discussion that we have. So I think bi-weekly is good. I can make sure on Sundays that I'm not working any overtime, because usually Sundays is a long time for me anyway. So maybe every other Sunday. So instead of, let's just say, okay, next Sunday we won't meet, but the following Sunday we will. So I can schedule out at least an hour, a day, or every time that we meet, an hour to hour and a half. And that way we'll have enough time to discuss whatever it is we need to discuss, and chip away at our weaknesses, making them strong, and finding out what our strong point is, and then focusing on that, and then really like manifesting what we need to do with our strong point, and I think that will help us really in our spiritual walk. So I know Cedric, I don't think he's able to voice his opinion. So maybe we'll hear that next time. But yeah, so yes.
Quick question. The stuff that was put in the chat, is that going to be in the recording, or if not, can we put that in our group chat so that we can keep track of it? Is that possible? We can cut and copy that and put it in our group chat?
Candace, do you know anything about that? I mean, because I haven't even looked at the chat yet. I'm sorry.
Are you asking to transfer over all this information to our new? What you saying?
Yes.
No, I
like,
was saying, if we play the recording, that the things that you took notes in and put it in our chat, into the Zoom chat, is that going to be on the record? Can we access that from the recording, or can we just put that in our group chat? on Messenger.
Do you know anything about that, Candace? I'm not sure. I
No
know
idea.
that just the audio, the visual and the audio. So I'm not sure if anything in the chat will transfer over to the recording.
Okay,
Yeah. So we could just try it and see. And if it doesn't, we can just,
okay, no problem.
yeah. So what I, if there's any more questions that you guys have, we can answer them now, or if you guys want to convene, the following Sunday, not next Sunday, but the Sunday after that, we'll just call it a night and do that at that time. So are there any more questions before we get off? So the following Sunday, okay, we won't meet next Sunday. The following Sunday we'll meet, and then y'all want to at the same time at 3 o'clock? Does that work for you? 3 to 4, 3 to 4:30 or whatever time? So that's what time we'll do it. I'm not sure what date that will be. Let me see. So that will be on the 11th, October the 11th at 3 o'clock. I'm sorry. October the 10th. October the 10th at 3 o'clock. All right. So, all right. Well, you guys have a good
Thank you so
one.
much.
You are welcome. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.